Once again, a big story on India Upfront, a story that we should all listen very carefully to. Viewers, what do you see on your screens? To the extreme left of your screens, you see a number of photographs of Kashmiri Hindus who were hunted and targeted. They're dead. The project to protect Hindus from ethnic cleansing in Kashmir isn't an easy one. We all thought that after the scrapping of Article 370, Hindus would be able to breathe easier, that they would feel more secure, as Article 370, of course, was an impediment to their integration. In fact, it was an impediment to the full sociological, psychological, emotional, and physical integration of the state of Jammu and Kashmir too. The government was confident that with more and more Islamist terrorists being eliminated and with more of their sympathizers being identified, the ecosystem of bigotry would be dismantled. While the army and the state have scored some massive victories, rattled by the onslaught, the Islamists have cowardly begun to target defenseless, especially from the Hindu community. The government is responding to this cowardice by reviving village defense committees meant to provide another layer of cover to ordinary residents, especially to Hindus, viewers. Retired servicemen and locals are being reappointed to village defense committees. Weapons will be given to them to stave off terrorists until the army arrives. It's because of this that Bal Krishna, viewers, the hero of a week ago, was able to use his .303 rifle to fire back at terrorists when his village in Rajouri was attacked recently. Children, if you recall, viewers, children were also killed here after terrorists examined the Aadhar card of the residents, determining who were the Hindus before opening fire. The death toll could have been much higher had Bal Krishna not fought back. Viewers, Bal Krishna used his gun after almost a quarter of a century. But let me tell you, viewers, Bal Krishna's right to fight back is now being grudged. Yes. While Islamist terrorists like Burhan Wani are celebrated for picking up the gun because they are supposedly alienated enough from the Indian state to strike back, there is a concerted effort to ensure that Bal Krishnas and other Hindus of the valley are denied the right to defend themselves. Viewers, the usual suspects are leading the criticism against the constitution of these village defense committees. Mehbooba Mufti has called the revival of village defense groups part of the BJP saffron agenda aimed at sowing the seed of discord among Hindu and Muslims. Viewers, we can all tonight lament the fact that we have had to arm civilians to defend themselves when it should be the state that should be overwhelmingly ensuring that these people are secure in their homes. But such is the nature, the capricious nature, the cowardly nature of terrorists, that when they lose or are about to lose ground to the state, they usually divert their energies into targeting the softest available community. In this case, of course, Hindus. Viewers, I want you to listen in now to what some of these individuals who today don't believe that Hindus have a right to life, perhaps, I don't know why else they would be opposing such a move, are saying. Listen to what they're saying, viewers.
मेरा ये कहने का मकसद है कि ये जो ये सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस सीआरपीएफ बटालियंस और लाने की बात कर रहे हैं, लोगों को एसएलआर देने की बात कर रहे हैं, दूसरे हथियार देने की बात कर रहे हैं। इससे मसला तो हल नहीं होगा, बल्कि जो बीजेपी का जो उनका अपना मकसद है, जो उनका अपना एजेंडा है, दो फिरकों में नफरत फैलाने का, एक जंगी माहौल तैयार करना है कि यहाँ बाई को बाई के साथ लड़ाना, उससे वही जो है वही सिचुएशन यहाँ बन जाएगी।
Viewers, it's bizarre, isn't it? It's bizarre. Instead of actually taking on the Islamists who actually sowed the seeds of mistrust in Kashmir, about 30 years ago, Mehbooba Mufti is pinning the entire onus now on defenseless Hindus. And a government that is at least trying to narrow the gap between its own ability to protect the citizens and, of course, viewers, the citizens' right to life. As I mentioned, this shocker from Mehbooba Mufti comes just days after terrorists unleashed mayhem in Rajouri's Dangri village and killed over 7 innocents, including children and women. I told you how they examined everyone's Aadhar card, and when they were able to confirm that the people they were talking to Hindus, they took them aside and they started killing them. Naturally, patriotic Indians have criticized Mehbooba Mufti and other Kashmiri leaders for their opposition to the new policy. We have several other reactions of Kashmiri leaders coming out and saying that this is a step in the wrong direction, etc., etc. But listen in to the political fight that has broken out. The BJP obviously is defending the central government's decision to reconstitute these village defense committees. Listen in.
सब सरकार में रहे थे तो हिंदुओं की जब हत्या हुई है तो तब आप नहीं रोक पाए ना। रोकने का संकल्प लेकर आए हैं कि कश्मीर में बाहर की आतंकवादी गतिविधियों पर लगाम लगाने के लिए अगर ऐसे गलत कामों को रोकने के लिए फोर्स एक्स्ट्रा लगाई जाएगा तो क्या बुराई होगी। वो यही चाहती है कि हिंदुओं की हत्या होती रहे, महबूबा ये चाहती है, इसलिए वो फोर्स लगाई।
Mehbooba Mufti should stop giving obnoxious, rather bizarre statements on VDCs. And if she has to do anything, why don't she come out with a statement against Pakistan? Why she's having soft corner for that Napak country, for that terrorist sponsoring country? Why she and Umar Abdullah didn't have a courtesy to give a single statement against the terrorist sponsoring country, and that is Pakistan? No, she's trying to play the communal card. You should abstain from doing such a thing.
Viewers, I don't need to tell you why in fact there is a need to protect Hindu lives in the valley. You know that very well. You know that conservatively in 1990, 1992, 70,000 Hindu families migrated from in that particular period. Now, why am I saying conservatively? Because, viewers, all these people who left fearing their lives because they were the victims of xenophobia were called migrants. Can you believe that? That's why the words are 70,000 Hindu families migrated between 1990 and 92. That's why I don't believe these statistics, because we all know, viewers, that 600,000 in total Hindus fled, not migrated, they fled from the Kashmir Valley. 215 cases of 700 Hindus killed have not even been reopened, viewers. There's been no justice, as you know. No one's gone to jail. It's a travesty. While the whole country focuses constantly on Gujarat riots and this riot and that riot, no one has spoken up. No one has spoken up. It appears that, as I said, Hindus don't have a right to life or justice, viewers, because if you are seen to be demanding that for the Hindu community, you're immediately branded a communal RSS type. It's just shocking. It's absolutely shocking. I'll tell you, viewers, as per Jammu and Kashmir police report in 2008, 209 Hindus were killed since 8909 in 1990 alone. Can you believe it, viewers? We don't even have the exact numbers. There are differing estimates. And in the center, the records still refer to these who were preyed upon for their religion as migrants. It's like saying that the Jews migrated to Israel. Viewers, it's as ludicrous as that. I want to open this up. I think it's time we have a conversation. Of course, it's difficult under the circumstances to have any conversations these days, because the moment I speak up for the rights of Hindus, people will become a little overly reactive. I'll give you an example. I'll start with Majid Hydari. Majid Hydari, I want to ask you, what's your problem? A Burhan Wani can pick up the gun. He's usually described as the son of a chemist or a mathematician or this, that, the other. Poor chap. Forced to pick up a gun. It's alienated, you see. Here, Hindus are being alienated from their lives. And they don't have a right to defend themselves because people like you will not criticize Islamist terrorism, but will criticize the government for trying to enable a response to Islamist terror. How does this work, Majid Hydari? Why are you so militantly opposed to the ideas of Hindus securing their interests in Kashmir? It's a very simple question. What's the problem?
See, Rahul Sahab, the targeted killings of the Hindus or of the non-Hindus is a serious matter, and we need to be collectively united on this front and fight the terror. But I have one simple question on this front, sir. If a Hindu brother of mine holding a 303 rifle is supposed to fight terrorists who are armed with AK-94 rifles or M4 machine guns, then what is supposed to be the role of our police and our army? Are we trying to undermine the role of our security forces? First point. Second point is this idea of training one particular community, which is my Hindu brothers, not aimed at empowering and arming Godses to frighten Gandhis. This is my simple point, because we have seen it to empower one.
I told you, viewers. So, all Hindus there. No, 1 second. Just calm down now.
Sir, why can't Muslims be trained for this? Okay, I have a threat to my life. Give me a gun. Train me with arms. Why can't I get a gun? Why can't a Muslim get a gun, sir?
1 second.
Why only Hindu brothers?
One second. Who has told you that this policy discriminates on religious lines? It doesn't. These are village defense committees. Can you show me any evidence where a Muslim will not be given a gun? Have you lost it?
No.
Are you trying to suggest that? No, do you even know the facts?
I say I have a threat to my life.
You don't know the facts.
Government that empower
One second. Who do you have a? One second.
This is a reality check.
Okay. So are you telling me that the Burhan Wanis who pick up the gun are coming for you, Majid Hydari?
I am saying if there is threat to life, it's threat to life of every Indian in Jammu and Kashmir.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you this question. If you fear the Burhan Wanis, should you not be criticizing your Kashmiri Muslim brothers for attending the funeral of the butcher of Muslims? Answer this question.
I have to condemn Burhan Wani. I'll also condemn the cultivation of Godses in those training camps.
I'm asking you, Majid Hydari. No, unconditionally. Tell me that all those people who go to pick up the janaza of Burhan Wani are complicit in the act of Islamist jihad. Simple question, Majid Hydari.
See, this is an irrelevant question.
It's not an irrelevant question. This is the heart of the question, sir. This is the heart of the question. I told you, viewers, an electric current goes through these individuals when it comes to talk of securing the rights of Hindus in the valley. Why? Is it because certain people...
No, why do you look at it?
Just relax. 1 second, Mr. Majid Hydari.
Why do you look at it through the prism of religion?
Because no one is looking... Excuse me, I'll answer that question. Okay, there you go.
Please tell me.
Because no one is going... Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, I told you, viewers, there can never be a peaceful debate. There will only be a rant from the other side. Now, viewers, I'll give you a very simple reason. Terrorists don't go looking at names of Hindus working, of Muslims working in banks, in schools, to shoot them. Neither do they go around looking at Aadhar cards for Muslim names to shoot them in the valley. You may find what I'm saying a bit too candid for your liking. But the time is, viewers. Oh, please excuse me, Mr. Haji, don't speak over me. Stop shouting. Stop shouting. Stop shouting. Calm down. Relax. Relax. Let me open this up. I'll get the BJP to respond to you. Sanju Verma, this is now being called an exercise to empower Godses against Gandhis. I presume the Gandhi word is coming from a particular ecosystem plenipotentiary who described anyone who picked up the gun against the Indian state as a Gandhi. I hope it is not that, because if it is, we must be worried, viewers, because that poisonous propaganda has seeped very deep under the cap of even Mr. Majid Haidary's very warm head, in this case, woolly head. But let me just bring you in, Sanju Verma. What's happening?
Rahul, first and foremost, through your show, I would like to pay my condolences to the, half a dozen people who lost their lives at Dangri village in Rajouri, and to their families. Coming to your question, I'll come to that in a bit. But I heard Majid Haidary asking a very pertinent question as to why the village defense committees will not have Muslims. And as you rightly rebutted, Muslims are not barred from being members of the VDCs.
Yes.
So it's a different matter altogether that the VDC movement was initially started way back in the 1990s by LK Advani, which is a different matter of debate altogether. I just have this to say. I had been on umpteen debates with Majid Haidary. And tell me, when local body elections were held in October 2018 in Jammu and Kashmir, did radical elements applaud the Modi government? They said no. When the District Development Council elections were held in 2020, and mind you, the Gupkar alliance of 7 parties could not win more than 107 seats, and BJP came out with flying colors, being the single largest party winning 75 seats. That time, did you give any kind of legitimacy to the fact that people want BJP, people want peace, people are in solidarity with what the Modi government is largely doing on the ground?
Yes.
No. I will give you the most recent example, Rahul, just 30 seconds. As recently as December 2022, not even a month back, the Modi government took the historic decision of saying that Pahadis will also be given the scheduled tribe status. Since 1991, only Gujars and Bakarwals are given the scheduled tribe status. And the Modi government said that 4% quota
but Sanju
government
Verma,
jobs will be given to Pahadis. I'll tell you why I'm pointing out this.
Yeah, get to the point.
Because more than 40 to 50% of Pahadis are Muslims, and yet the Modi government took this historic decision. And all the border areas, more than 50% of the border areas are manned by Gujars, Bakarwals and Pahadis who come from the Muslim community. But the Modi government, without looking at this from the prism of a religion angle, it went ahead and did what needed to be done and put the Pahadis on par with Gujars and Bakarwals, which had
Let
not
me
been
tell
done
you,
since
viewers,
1991. But
this is standard.
Not the Modi government.
Okay, this is standard. I agree with you. This is standard SOP, viewers. They will not only try and isolate Muslims who are standing up against Islamist terror and try to suggest that they've become co-opted in the Sanghi school, but they will also deny their history. You see, viewers, on Times Now, I come with the hard facts. Why? So that all of you watching, the Times Now family of viewers, are empowered with the truth. No one will talk about Jamila Bano, who in 1999, as a 19-year-old, assisted the army in gathering intelligence, and she shot dead a Hizbul terrorist. This all happened in 1999. She was from Duga village near Doda, and she also underwent this particular training. So Majid Haidary will try and shame all Muslims or any Muslim that speaks up for a Hindu in the valley. And that's the nub of the problem. They will celebrate those who go out there in the name of religion and kill Hindus. They will go out there, they will lead funeral processions, etc. But any Muslim who goes counterintuitive, counter-argument, counter-narrative is then isolated. Why? That's the fundamental question we need to ask. General Bakshi raising his hand. Dr. Ranganathan, Colonel RSN are all there with us. I'll bring them in one after each other. Yes, General Bakshi.
Rahul, let me make that very pertinent point that village defense committees were established to protect vulnerable groups that were being specifically targeted. It had nothing to do with religion per se, but the fact was, as you very rightly pointed out, when you ask for Aadhar cards to establish a particular identity and shoot them in exclusion to everybody else, then they need to be protected. Now, as far as this fact, why not to Muslims? Let me correct this gentleman. I was serving in Rajouri and Punch. I was GOC Romeo Force. The Muslim Gujars of Hill Kaka, who were specifically being targeted by the terrorists, whose women were being raped, they were armed. They were also given under the VDC scheme 303 weapons and trained. Their women, when the Gujars go up the pastures, their women are left behind. And these terrorists used to come and molest them, rape them. The women asked for training, Muslim women, and we trained them to defend themselves. So don't give me this communal crap that why to him or why not to this group or why not to that group. The identification was done based upon threat analysis, based upon which were the vulnerable and targeted groups, and they were given the bare minimal means to protect themselves. When the Muslims in Hill Kaka were being murdered, their women were being raped, when they were being tortured, they were given means to defend themselves. They were given weapons, they were trained. Here, when the Hindus are being specifically targeted, the purpose of giving these weapons was to cause an element of delay in which the security forces could rush to that spot.
That's
the
right.
sound of firing itself would draw the security forces to that place. Because you see, it's a simple mathematical ratio. You can't, when I was in Kishtwar, I had 3,000 troops, I had 11,000 square kilometers to guard.
Okay, let me...
I can't put...
one second, let's open this up.
One soldier even to every square kilometer.
Each other. Mr. Hydri.
Mr. Majri, we heard you with a lot of patience. Show the same patience. Nobody interrupted you.
Okay, let me...
Why are you interrupting?
Well,
the simple fact is that you can't defend. He who defends everything defends nothing.
yes.
You can't go to every village and defend. You will have to be selective because you don't have adequate troops.
Okay, you made a
So
point.
all this hogwash the army is being made redundant, this CRPF is being made redundant is utter nonsense.
Well,
this is actually
General Bakshi, who
designed
served
to
there on the
facilitate
ground, is
communal
giving
slaughter.
Yes, he's giving you an overview from the perspective of an individual who served there in counter-terrorism situations. Now, I want to bring in both Dr. Ranganathan, and very quickly, I saw Lokesh Jindal raising his hand. What's your objection to this, Mr. Jindal? Earlier, the Congress was in support. Now, what's your problem?
What about the salaries and wages to the members of the VDCs? I want to ask, sir, there are 4,125 VDCs which are functional now. And last 4 years, they have not been given wages. Now, is the government clear with respect to the wages they shall receive? What about their role with respect to vis-a-vis the police as well as army? The army is training them, well, fine. But then when we are talking about certain people such as SPOs, which were promised that they shall be getting 18,000 rupees per month of wage, which they have not got since last 4 years.
Do you have an ideological problem with this? Yes or no? Simple question before you... we'll go into the logistics, etc. later. What is your problem with this?
See, when we talk about a good enforcement law and agencies, while implemented, they deliver result. We have seen that how stone
So
pelting
the
has
Congress
reduced.
today, viewers, look at the Craven Congress. Back then in time, it had no problem. No problem, exactly. Salva Judum. No problem in setting up the Salva Judum. You see, viewers?
No, what
But
I'm saying is the
no, this
administration
is your
taking care
problem.
of
At that
VDCs?
time, you were not thinking about army and forces morale, were you? Please,
we are
have some
upholding on the
consistency.
morale of the army and
This
forces.
Lokesh
What I'm saying
Jindal
is
comes
the
from a party,
administration particular of the VDCs.
where the Prime Minister once described as Maoism as the #1 terror threat, that went to the Supreme Court and used the term urban Naxals. But then viewers today does a flip and says, oh, you see, categorizing anyone as an urban Naxal is to do a disservice to dissent. Can you believe this political party views?
Rahul, where am I wrong if I'm asking for the wages for the VDCs?
That's a
which they
different
have not
question,
got
and
since
I've
last
said it.
4 years?
But you've now also expressed an ideological disregard for this policy. So let's talk about no. Again,
to safeguard their rights as
again,
well.
flip, because I reminded you of Salva Judam. Now it's a flip. Now, 1 second. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of Mr. Hydari and Lokesh Jindal's core objection on ideological grounds to this?
Rahul, let me put it very bluntly. Kashmiri Hindu has no right to live. As simple as that, especially in Kashmir. You know, you talked about terrorists coming in, barging into schools and hospitals and Hindu hamlets and inspecting Aadhar cards. Let me also be very honest. Yes, no doubt Muslims are being killed in Kashmir, but as a collateral or as suspected to be informers, whereas Hindus are being killed just because they are Hindus, and that is why it is very disappointing and befuddling, and anger rises when someone on as high an authority as the governor says that religion has got nothing to do with it. Of course, religion has got everything to do with this. Kashmiri Hindus are being discriminated against, ethnically cleansed, killed, driven out. But have you ever wondered why Kashmir's bubbling and ever-present communal bigotry, ethnic cleansing, terrorism, and religious fanaticism never enter the India narrative? Think about that. Why India is being called an autocracy, suppressing freedom of speech and expression and discrimination, but they never bring Kashmir in it. Because if they do, then this whole facade falls like a pack of cards, because they talk of human and religious rights. But when have you heard them speak out on the atrocities committed by Pakistan against the Ahmadiyas or the Baluchs? Leave aside the Hindu and Christian minorities. When have you ever heard them speak about against China that has interned more than 1 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps and is feeding them pork? When have you heard them speak out against the brutal trampling of human rights of lakhs of Dalits, Gurkhas, women, Sikhs, refugees, homosexuals in Kashmir because of 370 and 35A? But I'll tell you, when they do speak out, when their power and authority are threatened, like when Sheikh Abdullah spoke out, and I quote, "Self-determination is our right. Countries that do not support it are our enemies." Or when Farooq Abdullah spoke out, and I quote, "They want to abolish 370 and we'll remain silent. Inshallah, we will fight. We dare them." Allah would want that we gain independence from India. And when it comes to one particular dynasty you showed a clip of, Miss Mehbooba Mufti, one would be hard-pressed, honestly, to find a bigger hypocrite or a bigot. From choosing a rape accused as an election candidate, to threatening rivers of blood if 370 was abrogated, to shedding tears and mourning the death of a terrorist Wani, to saying flags other than tricolor will fly, to threatening sedition by saying, quote, "Why would a Muslim majority state want to stay with India," unquote, to wanting to introduce punishment according to Sharia law in Kashmir and death by stoning.
Yes.
Mehbooba Mufti has scaled all methane-spewing landfill summits, Rahul. But you know, after a while, one gets tired of exposing them with facts and details. And so I have, with your permission, devised a simple 30-second plan. Just ask these three panelists out there on our panel, turning up on any Kashmir debate as they do, these two simple questions that require a simple yes or no answers. Number one, was Burhan Wani a terrorist? And number two, did Kashmiri Hindu genocide take place? My answer to both these questions is an emphatic yes and yes. Ask these people. You might unearth many snakes tonight.
Well, let me, first of all, let's get into this. Mr. Jindal and Colonel RSN are coming in. Yes, Mr. Razak Khan, give me 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. Mr. Jindal was furiously nodding his head from side to side when Dr. Ranganathan suggested that religion had got everything to do with the terror in Jammu and Kashmir. In other words, he disagrees that religion has anything to do with terror in Jammu and Kashmir. This gentleman comes from the same Congress party, viewers, that came up with an analogy that linked the Hindu faith to terror. So what holds you back, Mr. Jindal? What holds you back? I'm asking you, did Burhan Wani pick up the gun against this country because he was part of the Ghazwa-e-Hind project of Islamist terrorism? Simple, straightforward question to you, sir.
He was brainwashed.
Brainwashed.
I mean, he was misguided.
Misguided.
And
Poor
therefore
guy.
he turned into a terrorist.
Misguided, brainwashed.
And I'm telling you, if
Note, viewers, note. Misguided and brainwashed. You see, viewers, you can be misguided when you don't have any precedent to tell you what happens when you allow bigotry to overcome you. But viewers, Burhan Wani was born 25 years after Kashmiri Hindus were driven out of that valley. He knew.
Rahul,
he knew the path he was taking, and he deliberately took that path.
Rahul, allow
Now
me
tell
to
me, no, 1 second. Would you say, no, 1 second. Very simple question, Mr. Jindal. Mr. Jindal, you sit here and you constantly talk about Sadhvi Pragya. Sadhvi Pragya is a Hindu terrorist, you keep saying. She is cutting, the thin edge of the Hindu terror wedge. That's what you keep saying on this channel. Poor thing, she was misguided. Why are you so harsh on her? Ho jata hai, galti ho jati. Why don't you give her some amount of rehabilitation? Yes, Dr. Ranganathan is raising his hand. You have a question?
I certainly do that.
Right.
I think I was required to answer that question, Ranganathan sir. Can I answer that question, Rahul, since you have asked that to me?
Lokesh, only because... okay, go ahead.
Okay, very quickly. Very quickly.
See, Rahul, when we talk about the history, we have seen that the entire struggle was between Chaudhry Ghulam Abbas and...
Sir, don't give me this. No, hang on. Just 1 second. Just tell me that the pogrom against Kashmiri Hindus was basically because of their religion. Can you admit this here tonight? Yes, no.
See, over here, a religion is being used. Realize one political end that is being backed by Pakistan.
Oh, right.
However, when you are looking at such form of
Rahul, I need to come in.
Right. Okay, Dr. Ranganathan wants to come in. Colonel RSN comes in right after. Yes.
Necessary and sufficient conditions.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Necessary and sufficient conditions. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan. Yeah.
Yes, no, I really need to expose this. I'm sorry I said I'm tired of, giving facts and all, but please permit me, because Lokesh has, just, I don't know, it's not that my blood is boiling, but I need to give facts, because I need to get this propaganda out of the window and, out of our minds. This thing about that in Kashmir, terrorism has got nothing to do with religion. I want to quote directly. I want to give you a glimpse into Gilani's world. Now, wouldn't you agree? And many Congress leaders, Rahul,
yes,
including Manishankar Aiyar, have actually met Gilani.
Embraced.
They were siding with Gilani. Embraced him.
Yeah.
Now, let me give you a glimpse into his world. A world of hatred for India and specifically Hindu. I am going to quote something verbatim. Quotes taken of Gilani, taken from his book, Nawaya-Hurriyat. 1. India is a bigger enemy of Islam and Muslims than even Israel. 2. Muslims are a Qaum wholly separate from the Hindus. Muslims are a complete separate nation on the basis of their religion, culture, civilization, customs and practices and thought. Their nationalism and their foundation of their unity cannot be based on their homeland, race, language, color or economic system. The basis of the unity is Islam and Islam alone. Kashmir must become an Islamic state. Our goal is establishment of Islamic government. I plead with the Afghan Mujahideen to come forward to help liberate us from India.
The topic of the debate. Why is he deviating so much?
Now look at this. Now look how rattled this guy is. Because I started quoting
it's becoming looking Tokyo, talking London, sir.
No, this is not looking Tokyo, sir. It's you who is looking Tokyo and talking London. In fact, you're looking Islamabad and talking Delhi. So just let's be a little more reasonable.
I'm making a humble submission.
No, Mr. Hydari, please.
303
You cannot. No, that's all. Don't give me all that hogwash. I'm bringing in Colonel RSN and Mr. Razak Khan. Mr. Razak Khan, by the way, viewers, let me tell you, Mr. Razak Khan, while Dr. Ranganathan was giving us hard facts, Mr. Razak Khan was laughing. He should have been boiling with anger at Gilani's words, but he was laughing.
No.
He's trivializing religious extremism, viewers, and bigotry. What else were you doing? Should I replay the tape? No, I'll replay the tape.
This is called hatred.
No, I'll replay the tape.
Hatred.
I'll replay the tape.
Venom spewing exercise.
Okay, let me replay. Let's one second. We are in 30 seconds. I'll be able to replay the clip. When Dr. Ranganathan was making a point, you were laughing. Why were you laughing? Why were you trivializing his words? Were you trivializing his words? Yes or no? Okay, 1 minute. Let me bring in 1 second. I'll bring that. No. I'll bring that clip out. 1 second. I'll bring the clip out, viewers. 1 minute. I'm lowering your fader. I'm bringing in Colonel RSN. At least he'll make some sense tonight. And he will not, in any way, viewers, justify anything to do with what these individuals are striving to do here, which is drawing a false equivalence. He won't. Colonel RSN, I want to bring you in on this. I want you to tell me, why is an ecosystem today upset that a village defense committee is being set up, where perhaps in villages of Rajouri district, for example, where Hindus were targeted, they'll be at least able to pick up the gun in their self-defense. Why do you think this is happening, Colonel Saab?
No, this ecosystem, as I say, it's a typical product of transfer of power. You go there, politicians, lawyers, judges, academic, all products of transfer of power. Both inside India, the Angrez, Gora Sahab went, and these fellows, they occupied their, the same bungalows in Luti and Delhi, while the whole Delhi, must be shivering, they must be enjoying their sigari, both here in India and Pakistan. So this ecosystem that you saw, one gentleman, head of a, intelligence agency, I mean, he was also part of the, I've seen enough of them. I have seen enough of them, and they continue, to only their industry has been dented, I would say, but industry has not been, demolished. That I would say. That answers your first question. The second question is that, look, the jihad is against India, not against India. It is against Hindus, the Bharatiyas. For simple example is, you drove out the Kashmiri Hindus in 90, right? But you welcome the Rohingyas. Rohingyas are there in Sujwan camp. Rohingya was there in Nagrota. And I think the government of the day should order a commission of inquiry as to who was responsible for this. Why they are not being driven out. And then you say it is not a Hindu problem. Now, lessons learned from this, in this Dangri village, Rajouri, you rightly brought out this, the brave act of Bal Kishan. And let me tell you, jihadis are basically cowards. If three rounds of ammunition could scare these fellows away into the jungles, you see how but you have every right to defend yourself and your family and your country.
Yes.
And in this, you should not be guided. You should be only guided by the past.
Well,
not by an assurance.
And here, viewers, when we talk about the past,
or a police head,
Colonel RSN, I'll tell you something.
Colonel Saab, 10 seconds.
1 second.
May I come in, please?
Yeah, 1 second. The past, you talk about the past. I want to tell you, viewers, in this country, whether it's the courts, whether it is successive governments, they have tried to bury the past. Where, viewers, where is the special panel set up to even investigate what happened in 1990? Dr. Ranganathan,
very quickly.
You are raising your hand. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Very quickly, the esteemed panelist, Colonel RSN Singh. General Bakshi, can I just take 30 seconds with your permission, sir?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Heaven knows how much I respect Colonel RSN Singh. He knows it personally, how much I respect the organization he worked for. But when he talks about the ecosystem, when he talks about the past, when he talks about the snakes, when he talks about Hindus being Kashmiri Hindus specifically targeted, with due respect to him, and he's like my, elder brother, if not father figure. I want to say this on record, that last week the man who shook hands on Bharat Jodo Yatra with Rahul Gandhi was his chief, who said on record that Kashmiri Hindu genocide did not take place, that Jagmohan was relieved when Kashmiri Hindus fled from Kashmir, that more Muslims were ethnically cleansed than Hindus.
Shocking. Shocking.
It pained me.
But it is true.
I totally
But
agree
it is
with you,
true,
sir.
viewers. It is true.
Please listen to the latest, episode that I have given on Pushpender Kulshresh's site.
I have seen.
On this man.
Let's, viewers.
Man called Dullat.
Rahul?
Yes, no, 1 second. Now, 1 second. I want to show you the two window, viewers. 1 minute, the two window. Where
Dullat was
Razak
the
Khan.
problem.
Where 1 minute.
And there were
1 second, lower the faders. Where Razak Khan. Where Mr. Razak Khan is laughing. There you can see him, viewers, laughing on the right. On the right of the screen, he's laughing as Dr. Ranganathan is making his point. Why, Mr. Razak Khan, were you trivializing the point that Dr. Ranganathan was making? There you are, laughing away. I can put the audio up and you will know exactly what you were laughing at also. Yes, Mr. Razak Khan, on the left. I can't hear you. Yes, go ahead. Let's listen to him. Respond. Razak Khan, why were you trivializing the point that Dr. Ranganathan was making? Bataiye.
Rahul ji, let us come to the point.
No, I'm coming to the point. The point is this, viewers.
Every day you allow
The
Mr.
point is this.
Ranganathan on national
It began with Majid Haidari trivializing this by saying that we are arming Godses to go against Gandhis. Who are the Gandhis for these people? Burhan Wani, viewers. Are there Gandhis? The Gilanis are there
what
Gandhis?
is happening in Kashmir.
1 second.
You allow me my time, I'll tell you.
No, I don't want to listen to your... No, I don't want to listen to your cockeyed... Sir, since you trivialized a very serious issue, I don't want to listen...
You give weapons to Hindus,
sir,
and you expect Muslims to keep quiet.
Sir,
you give
I don't
weapons to Hindus.
Lower his fader, just spreading poison. This is the gentleman who came on this show some years back, viewers, and talked about Sartan Se Juda and legitimized it.
Sorry,
the same gentleman.
Rahul.
Yes, General Bakshi. Yes, General Bakshi.
You know, this is, you are giving weapons to Hindus. This is a very strange definition of terrorism. If Hindus, Kashmiri Hindus are killed, it is perfectly par for the course. Yeah. It is perfectly legitimate and all right, as per their dispensation. You know, I served in Kishtwar. We started going in for command and control attrition. We started trying to knock out the terrorist leaders. And in response, you know what they did? They went to Tagud village, pulled out 5 Hindus, killed them.
It was
shocking. They went to Pati Mahal, pulled out Hindus from the bus, 8 of them, shot them. Then they went to Gulabgarh, beyond the range of the VDCs, where the old people go with the grandchildren, with the cattle to the pastures. They kill old, ladies and old men, 80 years old.
Shocking.
Along
Disgusting
with
bigots.
5, 8, 9, 10.
Disgusting bigots.
This kind of slaughter was
and we still have apologists.
Then you say, why do you arm them?
We still have apologists in this country.
If the Hindus haven't fled, and if the Hindus haven't fled Kishtwar, it is because of the VDCs.
Yeah.
And it is because we took stringent action against those groups.
But Sanju Verma, very quickly, I want you to guarantee that this time there will be no logistic/administrative reasons that will lose. Just please shut him down. Haidari, please don't talk in the middle. It's not right. Please, this is not the way. I'm not even addressing you. You're an apologist. You're a denier. So forget it. I don't know why we even invited him. I don't know why. Now, 1 second. Sanju Verma, I just want to ask you, will these VDCs now be subjected to the bottlenecks that we saw in the previous administration? That's all I'm asking. Please empower them and put your money where your mouth is. Please.
Be it the unofficial or official spokespersons, come here and give a lecture to the Modi government I find it hilarious had it not been so tragic.
Okay.
Don't forget, Rahul, please, can I take 20 seconds? I've been waiting for my turn. Please. Beat the Anantnag. This has been said ad nauseum on your debates, but since the topic is sensitive, I think it's time for me to reiterate that. Beat the Anantnag riots of 1986, the CTO blast in Srinagar in July 1988, or A.M. Watali's killing in September 1988. Who was the Prime Minister of India? It was Rajiv Gandhi. So please don't sit here and give a bhashan.
I just want
the Modi government
viewers,
is doing what needs to be done.
Sanju Verma ji, till you don't form a committee to look into the massacre of Kashmiri Hindus, well, I'm sorry, you're not doing enough. Number one. Number two.
5 seconds.
Yeah, now, CAA के भी थोड़े rules आप notify कर ही लीजिए. It's been now 2.5 years. You talk about, giving refuge to this and that, Rohingya and all that. But पहले अपने जो वहाँ मर रहे हैं Hindus who are dying in Pakistan and Bangladesh, notify the rules so that they can live a life of dignity in this country. I leave it at that, viewers. I leave it at that. Okay, I leave it at that. No, forget it. You see, you're just going to spin me around and say that in the next 6 months we will have an extension and all that. Yes, yes. Sanju Verma,
can I just take 10 seconds?
10
yes.
seconds. Chalo, 10.
Rahul, I think today on such an important debate, you also need to mention, which perhaps you have done during the course of the day, is the fact that the Resistance Front has been declared a banned terror outfit.
Fair enough.
And so has Sajjad Gul.
Fair enough.
He's been declared
Fair
a
enough.
terrorist.
But the LET is also banned.
The government is doing nothing.
But madam, the LET is also banned and they continue their terror. I'm only saying, empower these people, do it right, and get that CA rolled out as soon as possible. I need to move on. I really need to.